All right, let's talk about something that is just fundamentally broken in modern sales. I'm talking about the cold email. We're going to break down how a really smart AI system can totally transform your outreach. From something people just instantly delete into a hyper-personalized connection that actually gets a response.
Oh, you know this email. We've all gotten this one, right? It's the digital version of junk mail. You can practically feel the mail merge template working. It's so impersonal, it's lazy, and let's be real, it goes straight into the trash folder. But what if we could kill this kind of email for good?
You see, that generic email isn't just a little annoying. It's a symptom of a much bigger problem. The reason most outreach fails today is because it completely ignores the human being on the other end. It's asking for their time without showing even a tiny bit of respect for it. And that's why it's so broken.
And this gets us to the central conflict, the big dilemma in sales outreach. On one hand, you've got the classic spray and pray method. Sure, it's fast. You can send thousands of emails. But the results? They're terrible. On the other hand, you have deep manual personalization. This works incredibly well. But I mean, who has the time to do that for hundreds or even thousands of leads? It's just not possible to scale.
So the holy grail, the absolute dream, is to somehow get the best of both of those worlds, right? We want the deep, meaningful connection of manual research, but we need the speed and scale of automation. It sounds impossible, but that's exactly what this AI workflow is built to solve. So how do we actually do it? Well, with an AI solution, of course. But don't just picture a piece of software or some complicated code. I want you to think of it like this. It's your own personal, super fast research team that works for you 24/7. Now, the core tech here is called a multi-agent AI system. It sounds fancy, I know, but it's just a way of saying it's a team of AIs. So instead of one single AI trying to do everything at once, you have these specialized agents that work together. Each one has a very specific job, just like on a human team, which lets them tackle a really complex task with incredible speed and accuracy. Okay, so let's see how this team actually works. The whole process kicks off with a really simple trigger, like a new contact getting added to your CRM. The moment that happens, bam, two AI agents are instantly deployed with one shared mission: find out everything they can about that lead. And this is where the teamwork really begins. The first agent becomes an expert on the person. It digs into their LinkedIn, their career history, recent promotions, articles they've published, anything to understand who they are professionally. At the exact same time, the second agent is becoming an expert on their business. It's scanning the company website, reading press releases, analyzing their market to understand their biggest goals and pain points. Now for the magic. Because, look, having a big pile of data is one thing, but turning that data into a compelling story, that's something else entirely. This next step is where the system goes from being just fast to being truly intelligent. So a third strategy agent takes over. First, it pulls all that research together into one single file. Then, it does something brilliant. It hunts for the angle, that perfect connection between that person's specific role and the company's biggest challenges. And using that single, powerful insight, it writes a completely unique email from scratch and saves it as a draft, just waiting for a final human to give it the thumbs up. And the result is a message that looks something like this. See? It's doing something a template could never, ever do. It connects a personal detail, their new job, to a major business initiative, UE expansion. And then it frames your value as the direct solution to a problem they're almost certainly thinking about right now. This is an email that doesn't just get opened. It starts a real conversation. So what does all this really lead to? Well, the results are a fundamental shift in how outreach even works. It's about moving away from that old numbers game and focusing entirely on the quality of each and every connection you make. The business outcomes here are pretty profound. Your engagement rates just skyrocket because the messages are actually relevant and respectful. This isn't just about writing better emails. It's about re-engineering the very top of your sales funnel so it runs on intelligence, not just brute force. You're basically turning cold leads into warm conversations, letting your sales team stop prospecting and start actually selling. And that brings us to a really fascinating final thought. When a system can research, strategize, and write this effectively, it kind of forces us to ask a pretty big question. What does it mean when your most effective salesperson isn't a person at all? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.